When I was probably 7 or 8 years old, my great-grandfather would tell me stories about the maneuvers coming through Middle Tennessee. My whole life, we've called the field where it's at the airplane field for this reason. Our hayfield at that time, probably a mile long, so they used that as a runway. And my great-grandfather said he would go out in the field and see planes hitched out next to the fence just like horses. And he said this one day they were doing their maneuvers and went straight into the ground. He said that it was buried there, and I never thought about digging anything up until Charles and Keith and I got together, and so we were kind of vague in finding it. But Charles and I were working on a fence one day, and Charles comes up and he says, "Hey, do you know the story of the plane?" And I got within 150 yards. Keith and Charles went out with a metal detector, started digging. About 3 days later, they say, "Hey, we found it." Charles called me at home one night and he said, "We found it." Sure enough, they were finding fragments of small pieces, and we've got the propeller. Oh, I was amazed that parts of it could be identified. It was a great feeling too. There's a lot of people that know. Media and Facebook especially has really gotten involved, and a lot of people are seeing this. People that still live in the area, "Oh, I remember this," and the comments they've made, and my grandfather remembered. There's several people that remember it. I guess it just takes something like this to jog memories. And the stories back then, I wished I'd listened more, but for something like this, this one caught my attention and I can remember it. And he's sitting up there watching right now saying, "I told you so." So there you go.